Welcome to the Partnership Path Podcast, a space where your partner management challenges are transformed into insights, where your expertise isn't just recognized, but celebrated. You're not alone on this partnership journey, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. We're here to guide you, to equip you. Dive deep with us into the world of partner management as we bring you real-world insights, expert advice, and strategies that truly make a difference. Ready to elevate your career? Let's take another step on this journey together.
Hi, John.
Hey, Toni. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm going to have a fit of the giggles. It's one of those days. How are you?
I'm not giggling, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready to take another step on the journey, on the path to partnership.
Great.
This has been really fun doing this with you, by the way. I don't know what episode number we're in now, but I'm super excited about what we've been doing. So I'm just glad you're here to do this with
It's
me.
good. That's why
Yeah,
I'm still smiling, John. All
yeah.
is well in the world. This is going to be a good episode. I can feel it.
I think so, and you don't even know what it's about yet. So I'm going
No,
to
I
tell you.
don't know. Surprise me.
I'm going to surprise you. So,
Mm,
based on some conversations I had with some of my customers this week, I thought it'd be good to do an episode on what I call alignment issues, and
okay.
that partnership performance is kind of always about alignment. And where this comes from is, I get questions all the time where people say things like, "Hey, you know what? We had this agreement. The partner and I agreed we were going to do certain things, but they never they never hired the person. They never
Mm-hmm.
invested the marketing dollars. Or they did for a while, but then they stopped. Or they're just not. Their salespeople aren't really pushing, the package that we put together, or whatever. There's
Yeah.
always some sort of execution issue, and they
Yeah.
say, "What do I do about that?" And unfortunately for them, my answer is almost always a question, which is,
Mm-hmm.
well, where do you think you're out of alignment?
Mm,
Because every time there's something wrong in a partnership, whatever
mm,
it is always related to the alignment that you are supposed to or you want to have in that
mm.
partnership. You're either out of alignment at a strategic level,
Yeah.
meaning that somehow the vision has changed or the direction of the partnership has changed,
Mm,
or you're out of line at a tactical or operational level. So business priorities have changed. And so
yeah.
whatever it is you put together originally is no longer valid.
Mm,
Or you might actually be out of alignment at an execution level where the people who are supposed to be executing just aren't doing their job. But
mm.
that last one is where we always go. We always blame that. But
Yeah.
my experience is that's very seldom the issue. Like, it's usually
Yeah.
not laziness. It's not, it's that there's some other issue at a higher level, right? That there's something out of alignment. Somewhere,
Yeah.
something has changed that caused us to get out of alignment. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess if I were to reflect on times where it's felt like things haven't gone well, like in a partnership, I was expanding my reach within a partner that I work with, so very
Yep.
large organization, and I went to see each of the regional sales managers, and one of them said, "I absolutely will not engage with you." And I remember thinking, "What do you mean? I'm from Microsoft." But
Well, and
he
you're
has.
Tony Kent.
Yeah, I mean, like, haven't you heard? And of course, he hadn't heard. Um, but he had an ongoing problem with a deal that had gone sour quite a long time ago. And so I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out what the problem was. And he said, "Look, if you can fix this for me,
Yeah.
then I will help you." And so that was something that I had to get him to disclose, firstly, what the problem was, because I
Right.
think he'd just gone, "I don't like you. I don't like your organization. You've done bad by me in the past." So I sort of took that as a challenge. But I think so. There were things like that where there had been an incident in the past that had colored
Yeah.
the relationship negatively. And then times when another vendor was doing things right
Yeah.
and was more closely aware of what the partner's priorities were
Yeah.
than I was. And again,
Yeah.
that's about fact finding and spending time getting to know
Totally.
their business properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say your first example is a great example of making sure when we create this partnership and we sort of set the rules of how our partnership is going to work, that we
Mm,
define how engagements are going to work and how
mm,
conflicts will be resolved. Right?
mm,
This is that a sales executive who feels like he's not being treated appropriately with a deal that's gone south.
mm,
Somewhere along the line, our rules of engagement have either failed or we didn't
mm.
really have them. We didn't really
Yeah.
clearly define, hey, look, here's how we're going to resolve conflict. Here's the process that's going to happen. And so he had nowhere to turn. And
Mm,
so, of course, he
yeah.
blames whoever happens to have the Microsoft shirt on the next
Yeah.
time he meets somebody.
Yeah.
So I do think that's, to me, that is one of those alignment issues, right? We're a little bit out of
Mm-hmm.
alignment in terms of kind of operationally, how are
Mm,
we going to deal with conflict? How do we
mm.
deal with a situation where one person feels slighted or disappointed in the way things have gone?
Yeah.
Um, the competitive one, that's another really good one, right? Where
Mm,
for me, when a competitor is able to take mind share away from us,
mm.
it's almost always because we didn't do a good job at that highest level, at that strategic level of defining what are the
Yeah.
boundaries of our partnership? Like, what are we going to do together?
Yeah.
And of course, the converse of that is one of our jobs as a partner account manager or channel manager, whatever, is to kind of push against the definition of our competitors partnerships and try and challenge those, right? How well were those
Yeah.
boundaries drawn, and can we
Mm,
penetrate them and take mind share from them? And of course
yeah.
that means we have to know our competitors are doing it to us as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not just that they're doing it right or doing it better, it's that
Mm,
they've done it smarter, right? They've been able to
yeah.
penetrate that definition, that boundary a little bit better and figured out how to weasel a corner off of the sandbox that we drew.
Yeah.
And they take some stuff away from us. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I love the idea though that it is, because I think it could so often be finger pointing, or like you say, you go, well, the partner didn't do this, so it's not my fault that this
Yeah.
didn't happen. But
Yeah.
the fact that pinpointing it and changing the conversation from one of blame to one of, where are we not quite aligned and what
Yeah.
needs to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Because look, I mean, every business relationship is going to have challenges. They just
Mm,
are. We
yeah.
can't execute perfectly all the time. Things are going to get out of whack. Things are going to go wrong. Somebody's going to mess up somewhere along the line.
Mm.
We need to come into a partnership and acknowledge that and say, okay, but how are we going to deal with it when that happens? Right?
Yeah,
We know that this is going to happen. So let's right up front talk a little bit about like what's the process that we should follow so that we don't sacrifice the relationship for this one little thing.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's
I
good.
quite I like that idea. Again, I know we've talked about it before. It's that level of maturity to say, okay, well, what is the process if something
Yeah.
isn't quite right, if you're not quite happy
Yeah.
with this, something goes wrong, how do we deal with it? And
Yeah.
to do it in that way to preempt anything happening and set a framework versus opening your laptop on a Monday and going, oh no.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
How many meetings have I had canceled with people where they say, I've got a fire, right? I've got to deal with a fire. I
yeah,
can't talk to you because I've got a fire with a partner. I've got an escalation. My
yeah,
boss has been called, or my boss's boss's boss, or whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
Look, the last thing I want to, as we were talking about this, I just had one thought I want to make sure that we cover too, which is in this concept of alignment. I
Mm,
think it's really important that we acknowledge that not every partnership is strategic and not every partnership is fully aligned. That
Yeah.
some of our partnerships are just transactional. They just are.
Yeah.
And those are bumpy.
Mm.
Because we don't have the luxury of creating that sort of strategic and tactical alignment,
Mm.
you know, we're one of many options for this particular partner. When things are good, they love us. When things
Yeah.
aren't good, they don't.
Mhm.
And the better, when as a manager, if I look at my portfolio, the better I can define that and be like, look, I know that this is just a transactional relationship. And so it's going to be good sometimes and bad others. I can then focus my efforts on the ones that I can achieve that alignment with, where I can get to that strategic level with them. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to, the reason I think that's important is I don't want people to think that every partnership like can be perfect. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. And quite frankly, not everybody we work with wants a strategic, aligned relationship. They just
Mm.
want a transactional partner. They just
Yeah.
want Microsoft in the game so that they can say they have a Microsoft solution, not because
Yeah.
they really want to partner with Microsoft, right? And,
Mm.
we have to be honest about that.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good shout.
Well, we'll see. I may get some flack for that. I may get some stuff back on that. We'll see. Look, I'd love to for this one, love for the community, for the listeners to talk a little bit about when they've realized, maybe examples of when they've realized that execution issues
Yeah.
were actually some sort of bigger alignment issue, right? And how did they get there? How did they come to that realization?
Mm.
And then any tips and tricks that people have on kind of figuring that out. Taking a step back and not just being
Yeah.
reactive, but taking a step back and thinking, okay, wait, what's really broke here?
Yeah. That was exactly what, just as you said that, I was thinking that it is that taking a step back and go, hang on. All right, you're saying this is on fire, but can we just step back and figure
Yeah.
out what's going on? Brilliant.
Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait to hear what the listeners have to say.
Lovely. Thanks, John.
Thank you for joining us on the Partnership Path today. Remember, in the vast world of partner management, you have the potential to shine, to become the authority in your field. Don't let the journey end here. Subscribe, reflect, and lead. Together, let's redefine the essence of partnership in today's dynamic partner ecosystem. Until next time,